All right, I'm going to talk just off the cuff about a subject that might be interesting to some. And I thank my friend from my Facebook page to request this special topic to just share my experiences with in terms of this aspect of life. And what is that? That is feminism. Although in my perception, I only see femininity. Because feminism for me is something that is not too up close, since I have been a homemaker most of my life. Yes, I did have a job prior to being married. I had my own company, export-import. I was sorry, I'm getting hot as soon as I talk. I was a manager in the five-star hotel. I also was a dancer. But it was all for fun. And as soon as I married, I became a homemaker. It's not going to be easy how I'm going to share my story. Not exactly the story, because then it becomes too personal. So I'm not going to make it too personal. I'm going to tell only in more generic manner, because I'm going to share also my experience in Italy. So this is the thing I'm thinking where I'm going to start, since I don't prepare by listing what I'm going to tell or to share or to say. But anyway, be mindful that, also because of my background, that I'm much more a person who prefers to be feminine than feminist. That's due to my background as well, that I enjoy being a woman. I enjoy being my natural self, and that is feminine, So for me to be feminist and to be strong and to be ambitious, to have a goal in life, to achieve something or to attain something in my life, it never existed in me, for your information. Whether it was out of ignorance or out of just purity of my state of mind, and just out of nature, I never have been a person who had a goal in life, which is not maybe inspirational to hear this, but no, I never had a goal. But then I know, as I was growing into my adolescent years, I know already what I like, what I want, that makes me happy. And that's all that I know, is just wanting a lovely, beautiful, happy things. That was all that I was, happy with. So anyway, back to feminism. All right, I was married to a German guy before. But prior to marrying him, I also had other men. Yes, I'm not ashamed, because it's my life. It's the path of my life. I'm not a hypocrite. I was courted by many men. So that's why I could also see the differences between all these men. Because it's my life. It's a destiny. It's not like I was looking for men. It's not like that. It just happened since I was 16, 17 years old in London. Because London was a place where I grew up, and spend my teenage years there for many years. Now, okay, this is what I'm going to share with you right off the bat. I noticed there's a difference between femininity in Italy and femininity in Indonesia, or also even in general in the world, okay, from the majority point of view. But in Italy, it's so different than in Indonesia, for example. And again, I have to inform you that this is from the older generation Italians. I don't know the generation today how they are, whether they're much more feminist or still traditional Italian women like their mothers used to be or were. So this is what I noticed. I still have to mention that I'm not a traditional Indonesian because I've been raised in England, which means, I was a little bit exposed to more openness. And sorry, my hair, I'm hot. I had to do this. So, okay, so this is what I noticed. Just to go straight to the point. In Indonesia, the women, at least the older generation, not today's generation, are queen in their house. Because the women in Indonesia, we are put on a pedestal. We are the prima donna in Indonesia. Our husbands or our men, they are actually, Indonesian men actually are quite masculine in the way they treat the women. They put us on a pedestal. But yes, they are the breadwinner. They are the head of our household. But it's the women who are the boss in a way. And Indonesian men don't have problems with that, because of our tradition as well, that we don't have this sort of sense of competition between men and women, and also due to us not having this equal right perhaps as America has, or the Western countries in general. So okay, I'm going to confuse between femininity and feminism. So feminism here today, yes, a lot of Indonesian women are independent now. They're feminists, but feminists to a certain degree, not feminists that they take over the men. They don't have that sense of desire to beat men, to battle with the men. We don't have that in Indonesia. My daughter is actually an independent woman, but she's not feminist. When I say she's not feminist, she's not, trying to show that she is better than the men. She has many men friends since she was very young until now. She has many admirers. It's just she prefers, to live on her own. She feels more independent that way. But she has guy friends, a lot since she was young, and she was maybe proposed like 7 times in her life that I know of. And the same with me also. I had almost similar history with her, because I also, was proposed, even though, we are, I had really great men in my life. They're alpha male, but they're very respectful, very gentlemen. Maybe one or two, not really, because they come from different background or different tradition. But on the whole, the men that I know, they were all good men. Whether it's me that's, that is evoking that in them, because I don't have that sense of competition with men, because I am happy in my role as a woman, that they also felt secure. I never made men feel insecure, except in Italy a little bit. Okay, so going to Italy, suddenly, my husband, my Italian husband, my German husband was the best. Okay, I have to give credit to him. He was the best. The only thing, maybe because I was too young, and a lot of distractions, and we have dynamic life actually. So when you're young, the world is your oyster. So you took everything easy, thinking that life will remain like that out of your ignorance. At least I'm speaking for myself. That everything could be conquered effortlessly. That's been my modus operandi, not modus operandi, but my mentality. That's been my mentality, because also I come from a very healthy family background. When I say healthy, in terms of attitude, mentality, education, where we were not taught to be hostile, or to be nasty, or to be polemic, or to be cynical. I never grew up with that. So I'm not trying to paint a beautiful picture, okay, of my background. Of course, we also had problems, that my mother had problems with this, and then maybe I had problem with my mother, things like that, which is a normal thing in the family. But we were not taught to discriminate anybody at all. But they never told me. So it's not like they were teaching me, don't be like this to this, don't be like that to that. It just came out all naturally. Anyway, back to the men. So with the German husband, everything was beautiful. The only thing, I come from a part of Indonesia where our sense of humor is very strong. So yes, maybe because there was not enough sense of humor from my German husband, but that wasn't a problem. It was just a thing that, yes, it was felt in the marriage, where everything was a bit too serious. But he was great. He was a great husband. And with my Italian husband, oh, he was funny. He was smooth. He was elegant. He was dapper. He was the best in courting a woman. He was wonderful, romantic, sweet, tender. But there is a big but with my Italian husband. Okay, not because I want to speak badly of him, because after all, I stayed with him until the end. So in my opinion, it's much more cultural than a character in regard to his attitude sometimes. In Italy, the definition of femininity in Italy, surprising me so much to find out that their femininity is much more slavish kind of femininity. For them, that displays or demonstrates what femininity, and that is slaving the man, to serve the man. Very paradox. It's paradox, because in Indonesia, in Asia at least, we are known to be the this kind of woman to the man. In Indonesia, we're not like that. We're not like that. We are the queen, but we don't behave like a queen. We respect the man. We are very sweet to the man. We know what the men want. We always anticipate what the man wants. We don't complain. We don't embarrass him. We don't, expose him. It is our private affair when we are married in Indonesia. But in Italy, it's totally different. What I saw in the older generation, which includes my sister-in-law, who is the sister of my late husband, is that femininity is to be at the man's beck and call. At the man's beck and call. And I was so surprised to see that, in the way she served her husband, in the way my husband's friends, appeasing the husbands or pleasing the husbands in front of us, in the company of people, where they behave like slaves, for your information, I won't go into detail, but I was so shocked that there I was in the center of Europe, in Italy, where it's supposed to be a country that's much more advanced than us in Asia, and there I saw some kind of, some kind of medieval behavior, be it men or women. I can give you examples like my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law's husband, would just shout at her, when we were talking. And yet this is a middle class of Italy, okay? It's not the lower class. That's one thing about Italy also. There's a lot of classism. So you can see from the language they speak, you can see already what background they come from by the things they say, the words they use. You know already what background they come from. So you can see already that, okay, this is the bourgeois, the borghese, the middle class. They behave like that. So even though the husband is a doctor, but he was ordering my sister-in-law like a slave. I won't mention her name. She, let's say, call what we call Giovanna. Okay, Giovanna, look, I want my wine. Where is my wine? And then Giovanna, my sister-in-law, would run and then say, oh yeah, okay. Here's the wine. This is older generation, all right. So please don't attack me for sharing my personal experience that I saw with my own eyes. Giovanna, I need this. Giovanna, I need that. And then one day Giovanna wanted to buy a pair of shoes and she cried. I said, why did you cry? Because my husband doesn't allow me to buy a pair of shoes. Now listen to this. My sister-in-law was an independent woman. She had her own job. She had her own salary. He lives in her parents' apartment. And yet she behaves like he's this big boss and she has no income, nothing, that she had to, depend on him 100%, that all her pride was just out of the window in order to stay with him, in order to marry to him. Can you imagine? I was so shocked to see that. Now, my husband, who used to have also beautiful women before me, he had a model, he had a very wealthy, blonde, big bosom woman as a girlfriend also. She was married to somebody very, very rich, and he died. And yes, they had a relationship before me. Now he, with all those women that were falling for him, because after all he was an engineer. And in Italy, again, another old mentality is men with titles are big deal, especially engineers and doctors. So many mothers, wanted to have their daughters marry my husband. And these women, he didn't want to marry because they were too strong for him. They were too strong for him. They were, the blonde one was the feminist one. She had her own Profumeria all over Rome and Milan. Profumeria is like not drugstore, but it's similar to drugstore, but carries only perfumes, cosmetics, things for women, and colognes for men. And she owned several in Rome and in Milan, so she was really loaded. And they would go for beautiful holidays, everywhere, Grand Canyon, Sri Lanka, Las Vegas, all this kind of luxurious holidays together. So anyway, but then she wanted him to marry her. This is his story. But he didn't want because he got bored. He got bored since all she was talking about was business. And he got bored. And she was going to take over of his life by asking him, look, give up the engineer, just open a shop where, you will take care of this shop and you don't have to work. Oh my God, that turned him off completely. So he left her. And then not long after, he met me. So with me, the cultural shocks we went through were quite unbearable at times, because then he thought by being with an Asian woman that I would behave like the Italians would call geisha. They have this romantic idea that all Asian women are like geisha, They saw it on the movie, so they think we are Asian women behave like geisha. To top it all, he met me who grew up in London. So it's double, edged sword. And he was a little bit surprised, to find me that I had character, Even though he did mention the fact that he liked me is because I was strong, I was not easy, and he liked that in a woman. All right, so he was prepared. That wasn't a problem. The problem was when I started living in Italy with him. Then he started to expect me to be like the Italian woman that is like a slave, So it's the opposite of feminist women that, people think Western women are. In Italy, it's different. They were treated sometimes in disrespectful manners. That shocked me. And these women, they take it, they don't have a character to stand up and say, you know what, basta, enough, I'm going. They don't have that character. I can give you an example, like the ex-wife of, that actor, the old Italian actor Marcello Mastroianni. While he was married to an Italian woman, he went off with the French actress Catherine Deneuve, and he even married this Catherine Deneuve. They have a child together, but his wife in Rome, in Italy, waited for him until the end. And that is the epitome of Italian woman, who is giving their pride and self-respect to a man, which is shocking, right? Because you don't expect that from a Western country. Instead, I found out that Italy is more like an Arab country of Europe, especially in Sicily. Because that's where the Arabs arrived and migrated in the past, I'm talking about. So my husband was rather surprised that I wasn't that kind of woman that he could mold into, or he didn't have to mold. He was expecting me to be like geisha, and I wasn't. And he was a little bit frustrated, maybe thinking that, oh my God, I thought that was going to be the woman, and yet it's conflicting in his mind and heart because he didn't like an easy woman. So anyway, as time goes by, he started to get used to my character, to my attitude, which he liked very much. Because after all, it's a equal basis. When I say equal basis, it's not like we are calculating and, oh my God, you work, I work, you have a salary, I have a salary. Okay, we put together and then we split. He wanted me to be his wife, and that was all. Homemaker, staying home, and that's it. It wasn't like today's couple where both earn and then after they split and then after they one pays this, one pays. No. With my husband, he was a gentleman. He was a real gentleman. He took care of everything, financially, for me. Never complained. He loved it. He enjoyed it. He worked hard for it because he wanted to be the man, and he was a real man. So when the Italian women saw me, that my husband and I have this kind of rapport, relationship, they started to call me princess. You see, they started to call me princess, thinking that, oh my God, what is this woman doing, coming to Italy and behaving like a princess? Unbeknownst to them, that is how women are outside of Italy, especially in Asia, especially in Indonesia. It's a normal thing that we are the queen at home, also outside. But each one of us knows our role implicitly, without being told, without being reminded. So my sister-in-law started calling me princess, and the other friends of theirs started calling me princess, because for them, my God, she doesn't do anything. I remember when I was new, and then I was going through transition, adapting and adjusting myself in Milan, and I was so accustomed to my life in Indonesia, where I have help at home. And even though I had my own company, but I was the boss, sometimes there are days when I didn't wake up early, and some of the friends called me, and I couldn't pick up the phone because I was sleeping. So it's a scandal. It's a scandal among them that I didn't wake up when they called. It was like already 11 o'clock. My life was different. And I was new in Milan. But thank God that my husband was oblivious to all this. He didn't care. He didn't care about, what they complained about me. The more they complained about me, the more in love he became. So anyway, the Italian women are the slaves. I remember I was so surprised once we were in Sicily, and we were just checking in. We arrived, and there was another couple also arriving in their car. And I hear the wife said, "Okay, don't worry about the luggage. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about the luggage." The husband was of the steering wheel, and the wife, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of the luggage." That is so foreign to me, coming from having a German husband, or exposed to international men. The men have always been very, very gentleman, very, very masculine, very alpha male, and there I was overhearing this Italian woman, very pretty Italian woman, young, pretty, and telling the husband, "Don't worry about it, I'll take care of the luggage." That reflects already the truth about the rapport between men and women in Italy. And one time, my Italian admirer wow. You see, that Italian chauvinistic, is very strong in Italy. I don't know today, but in my husband's generation and my generation, the men are very chauvinistic. And I had to go through a lot in fighting with my husband to minimize what he's, accustomed to. And that's where actually our clashes derived from, the cultural shocks, the cultural differences, the cultural adjustments. But I'm so lucky that my husband overlooked all that. It wasn't important, but it was tough, but it wasn't important for him, because the most important is for us to stay together for him. And that was a great help. Because there were times, yes, I admit, there were times I felt like running away from Italy. For your information, I couldn't take the chauvinism of Italian men. You see, so there is no feminism in Italy then. Only maybe a few here and there. Today, I'm sure, it's common. But in the past, there were just a few. Because you cannot be feminist with Italian men. They are very, very macho. They're very chauvinistic. Very chauvinistic. Not macho. Macho is more for the physical, anyway, whatever. But very, very chauvinistic. And then I have a friend who was so always, so kind with the husband. He was a friend of Pietro also, but more a business friend. Every time we got together for dinner or for Christmas or for New Year's, the wife was always in the background, always so nice, so demure. They have three sons, two sons, very nice, very gentle wife, very gentle wife. I'm telling you, it's more than Indonesian women. Indonesian women, we don't need to be feminine. We don't need to do that, because it's innate. It's innate with us. While Italian women, they make an effort to be feminine, that sometimes, no offense, sometimes gives me the impression they look more like the way they behave, more like a drag queen. Not the look, I'm talking about the behavior, who tries so hard to be feminine when actually are not innate. I'm talking about my experience only, okay? So don't generalize that every Italian woman is like that. I only share with you what I have seen and experienced with. So they are over killing with being feminine. In other words, when they smile, they love the oh, yeah. They don't even want to laugh freely. Indonesian women, when we laugh, okay? We smile, we laugh. Italian women, no, they don't want to laugh too hard. They don't want to let go in their laughter, or they don't want to be too familiarized with people, because that for them is femininity. Now, feminists, even though they work, they don't claim to have that masculinity, like in America, in order to show that you are independent and you are feminist. Italian women, no, they stay women. They don't become like men in America, very dynamic, No, Italian women are not like that. But they are overkill with their femininity. The husband of this woman died also many years before. Was it 2 years before Pietro, okay? In 2 months, she had already boyfriend and she already, lived with the man. You see the hypocrisy? Whereas me, I'm very, but then my husband died 5 years, I'm still single. because I have principles, because I know what I want, I know what I don't want. I want to respect my husband. I have limitations, I respect myself. I respect my husband, even though when he was alive, yes, we had our problems, but he was there, I was there until the end. But with these Italian women, they, the husband died, they're with another man already living together. That's it. 4 years and married, maybe no, not married because both have pension, so they don't want to lose their pension. Okay, so that's Italian women. So there's no feminism. Femininity, yes, but not feminism. Now, on the contrary, when they want to be natural, then they become a little bit like masculine, a little bit. They speak with the loud voice. They have a little bit masculine, but that has nothing to do with feminism. It is just them in their nature. Okay, so American women, they have their femininity. I love American women because they have their femininity. They have, at the same time, they have their dynamicity as well. They have their independence, but they respect their husbands. So those that you have today in America are completely how to say, is that overreaching feminism. It's overreaching. They want to take over the man, which I disagree totally. They want to, and that's not what I would like to belong to. I prefer to remain in my femininity, and I prefer to be me because it is innate. Whereas in Italy, it's a bit of an effort to stay feminine. Regrettably, because I know many married men there. And they are bored with their wives. Yet their wives are younger than me. Some of the one wife is a dentist. They have valid women as their partners or their wives. And they confided in me that they're bored, and or they just off, or they just do it because out of responsibility. I can be a psychologist because a lot of men tell me their private life, with their wives, and including Indonesian men, though, So that's another story. So anyway, so that is the feminist in Italy, which doesn't exist in my time. It's good, but it's not good at the same time because they were treated like slaves. They behave like slaves. When I asked because my sister-in-law met the husband only 10 years or maybe 7 years after my husband and I were married already. So I asked casually, I said, so when are you going to get married then? Because they were already saying that, they're in the process to get married. So I said, when are you going to get married? What's the date going to be? And the husband in front of us, admittedly, I'm not as demure as the original traditional Asian woman, okay? I am a little bit English, a little bit international. So it was tough for my husband also to face me. I wasn't an easy woman. That's what I warned him already in advance, and he didn't mind. Because I didn't want to act like someone else. I want to be me. When I'm with a man, when the man wants to marry me, I want to be me. I don't want to be fake, and then after when we marry, then I let go, and then this is me, whether you take me or leave me. That's not fair for the man. The man has to know me already from the beginning, so he can make up his mind. If he doesn't like me, then he can leave. If he likes me, then okay, we can go on, but at least I don't have to put a mask on my face. That's the word, mask. In Milan, a lot of masks going on, okay, being worn by men and by women, So it depends also of your character, of your preference, of your personal taste, of your background, of your experiences. All determine your character, your likes and dislikes in life. And that's why we can't put people in a cookie cutter, uh, one fits for all situations. Backgrounds counts as well, experiences. But overall, what I saw in Milan is those women were very, very overtaken, overtaken. So that's it. Sorry for my not being articulate about it, but at least I hope you get the essence of my, you know, story about the women in Italy and women in Indonesia. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to post the video tonight. You have a great weekend ahead. Thank God my telephone is not ringing in the meantime. Okay, ciao, ciao, bye.